له يا سيد أنا رجعت على لبنان، أتمنى أنك ترجع كمان على لبنان.
قرار صادر من مجلس الجامعة تسمية حزب الله الإرهابي.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and here's our today's top stories. Several Kataib Party and Future Movement ministers threatened to walk out of the cabinet session if a deal regarding the marginalization of the General Directorate isn't reached. Russia will complete the withdrawal of the bulk of its forces from Syria before the end of the week, according to a top Russian general. And Germany closes its embassy in Ankara in Turkey, its general consulate in Istanbul, and German schools in 2 cities after security service received concrete leads of an imminent attack. Several Kataib Party and Future Movement ministers have threatened to walk out of a cabinet session if a deal regarding the marginalization of the General Directorate of State Security has not been reached. The ministers said they objected to what they called the marginalization of Magistral General Georges Ara, who was not invited to security meetings. They also protested the cabinet's failure to approve a 2-year-old bill to create a 6-member leadership under Kara's authority, despite promises to tackle the issue 2 weeks ago. Education Minister Ilyas Boussaab told reporters that other pressing issues should be discussed before the issue of state security appointments. This meeting is the first to convene since they announced a breakthrough deal last weekend to resolve the nearly 8 months waste crisis. The implementation of the deal to remove garbage from the streets should begin tomorrow, according to Interior Minister Nouhad El-Mashnou. The waste contractor for Greater Beirut, Suklin and Sukomi, are stressing that the increase in the value of their contracts has come as a result of the expansion in size and geographical scope of their work in Beirut and Mount Lebanon, slamming media reports questioning their integrity and handling the waste management file. Early in March, financial prosecutor Ali Ibrahim filed a lawsuit against Suklin and Sukomi firms on charges of squandering public funds in their handling of waste management in the country in the past 2 decades. The move is based on the lawsuit that has been filed by Kataib Party chief MP Sami Jmail against the Council for Development and Reconstruction for its long-running failure to follow up on the waste management file since Suklin and its subsidiary Sukomi were tasked with collecting, sorting and landfilling waste in Beirut and Mount Lebanon back in 1994. Kuwaiti authorities are upping their measures against Hezbollah-linked businessmen, a report says, as the Kuwaiti General Directorate of Security reportedly prepared lists of people banned from entering the country over their alleged links to the party. The list mainly includes Lebanese and Syrian expatriates, in addition to other Gulf nationals who are proven to have links to Hezbollah or support it financially, politically, and through media. This is according to the Kuwaiti Al-Ra'i newspaper. The Daily said that the people on the list are no longer wanted in the country and work is underway to deport them based on 3 legal procedures that take into consideration the state's security and the interests of other expats. Russia is to complete the withdrawal of its bulk of its forces from Syria before the end of the week, according to a top Russian general. He was quoted as saying that he thinks this will be over very quickly and within the time frame determined by the president and the defense minister. The interview was published in a newspaper but put online late on Wednesday. It was not clear precisely when the general made his remarks. The Russian planes have been flying back home from Syria since Tuesday after President Vladimir Putin gave the surprise order to pull out of most of Moscow's forces in the war-torn country. Russia is set to keep its airbase near Latakia in Syria and the Tartus naval facility, and it remains unclear what sort of presence exactly Moscow will leave behind. A video surfaced appearing to show a missing Japanese journalist reportedly held by the Al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria, reading a message to his family and country. He said, "Hello, I am Junpei Yasuda. Today's my birthday." Bearded man who appeared to be the Japanese freelance journalist of that name said on the video posted on Facebook. The man sitting at a table in front of a white wall says he misses his family and cannot be with them. The man dressed in a dark sweater with a scarf mostly seemed calm as he spoke in English in the 1-minute video, but occasionally paused with emotion. Japanese media said Yasuda was captured by Nusra Front after entering Syria from Turkey in June. Public broadcaster NHK said it had spoken by phone with the man who posted the video and said he had received it from someone seeking Yasuda's release. Coming up next, Dozens of protesters staged a die-in outside the business headquarters of Donald Trump. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the 1620 o'clock news here on Future Television. Germany has closed its embassy in Ankara, its general consulate in Istanbul, and German schools in 2 cities in Turkey after security services received concrete leads of an imminent attack, according to Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Yesterday evening, he said, the security authorities received several concrete and very serious leads that terror attacks against German representations in Turkey were being prepared. He said this to reporters in Berlin. The measure was necessary as a precaution to protect German citizens, he added, while they are trying to collect more information about the development of the security situation in Turkey. The move followed a car bombing in Ankara that killed 37 people on Sunday. The Kurdistan Freedom Hawks militant group claimed responsibility for the attack on a crowded public transport hub, saying it was revenge for security operations in the mainly Kurdish southeast that have been underway since July, in which hundreds of civilians, security forces, and militants have been killed. And today, Turkish Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu and his wife Sadi Davutoglu visited a makeshift memorial at an Ankara bus stop where the suicide bomb attack was carried out on Sunday that killed 37 people. Davutoglu and his wife left red carnations and a Turkish flag at the site, pausing to pray for the victims. Their visit comes shortly after the Kurdistan Freedom, also known as TAK, a militant group believed to be linked to the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, claimed responsibility for the deadly bombing and warned it would stage more attacks against those it holds responsible for security operations in the mainly Kurdish southeast. In a statement posted online, the group described the latest car bombing on Sunday at a crowded public transport hub as a revenge for security operations in the mainly Kurdish southeast that have been underway since July, in which hundreds of people have been killed. 2 Palestinians stabbed and wounded an Israeli female soldier and were then shot and killed outside a Jewish settlement in the occupied West Bank. Since October, Palestinian street attacks have killed 28 Israelis and 2 U.S. citizens. Israeli forces have killed at least 187 Palestinians, 126 of whom Israel says were assailants. Most others were shot dead during violent protests. In a statement, the military said the latest incident occurred at a road junction outside the settlement of Ariel. Forces at the scene responded to the attack and shot the assailants, resulting in their deaths. The woman is being evacuated for medical care. The surge in violence has been partly fueled by Palestinian frustration over the collapse of U.S.-sponsored peace talks in 2014, the growth of Jewish settlements on land they seek for a future state, and Islamist calls for the destruction of Israel. 5 North Carolina sheriff's deputies have been disciplined over their behavior at a rally for Republican U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump, where a white supporter sucker-punched a black protester. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office said 3 deputies were demoted and suspended for 5 days each without pay for their unsatisfactory performance at last week's rally, while the 2 others were suspended for 3 days. At the rally in Fayetteville, John McGraw, a 78-year-old white Trump supporter, was arrested on a misdemeanor assault charge after he was seen on video punching a 26-year-old black protester in the face. Video of the incident recorded by bystanders showed deputies pinning the assaulted protester to the ground, prompting social media on criticism on why swift action was taken against him instead of his assailant. So dozens of protesters staged a die-in outside the business headquarters of Donald Trump in New York City. Many of the protesters were from the Brady campaign to prevent gun violence, named after Jim Brady, who was shot and seriously wounded during the 1981 assassination attempt on U.S. President Ronald Reagan. The gun control advocates wrapped themselves in white sheets and laid silently on the sidewalk outside Trump Tower in Manhattan. Trump Tower is the headquarters of the Trump Organization. The protesters said they were upset with recent comments made by the Republican frontrunner for U.S. president. Also on Wednesday, Trump warned of riots if he is denied the party's presidential nomination after a string of primary election victories. He scored big wins in primaries in Florida, Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, knocking out rival Marco Rubio and bringing him closer to the 1,237 convention delegates he needs to win the nomination. Hillary Clinton may be going after Bernie Sanders' voter base with an appearance on Broad City, a sometimes raunchy comedy about 2 20-something women living in New York City. In recent polls, Democratic women aged 18 to 29 say they prefer Sanders to Clinton, 57 to 24%, while those aged 30 to 39 prefer Clinton to Sanders, 45 to 28. In the March 16 episode of Broad City, the show's two female leads, excited over their work for the Clinton campaign, are rendered speechless when their candidate pays her Brooklyn campaign office a visit. Take a look.
Yeah. Check it out.
This is cool. This is cool to see this.
Your best friend has been working hard all day on the Hillary Rodham Clinton campaign.
She's worked in here.
She's walked on these floors. She's breathed this air. Take it in.
Yeah, that is power.
It smells decisive.
It smells like confidence.
It smells like no bullshit.
Yeah.
That's my former desk.
Wow.
This is my former chair. Good sitting and calling. This is a former leaning column. Sort of talk about big stuff that's going on, domestic, international, kind of casual. Sorry, we are just so excited.
It's all right. Just take your time.
Marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. Several Qatar Party and Future Movement ministers threatened to walk out of a cabinet session if a deal regarding the marginalization of the General Directorate of State Security is not reached. Russia will complete the withdrawal of the bulk of its forces from Syria before the end of the week, according to a top Russian general. And Germany closes its embassy in Ankara, its general consulate in Istanbul, and German schools in two cities after security services received concrete leads of an English attack. Those are your headlines live on Future Television. Catch us again tomorrow for all the latest. I'm Nina Nofaz, signing off.
بقول له يا سيد أنا رجعت على لبنان، أتمنى إنك ترجع كمان على لبنان.
قرار صادر من مجلس الجامعة تسمية حزب الله الإرهابي.